an Oscar should be a major boost to an actor's livelihood, given that it boosts the marketing buzz of any future project they appear in, given that Academy Award winner could be included in marketing materials featuring their name. And yet, there are a curious number of instances where Oscar-winning actors' careers have hit the skids shortly thereafter, enough that some have dubbed the phenomenon the so-called Oscars curse. Let's get into it, shall we? I'm Ewan, you're watching Whatculture, and here are actors whose careers tanked after winning Oscars. Cuba Gooding Jr. Let's kick things off with perhaps the single most infamous example of a featured actor whose career hit the toilet bowl soon thereafter. After making memorable appearances in both Boys in the Hood and A Few Good Men, Cuba Gooding Jr. completed his ascent to Hollywood superstardom when he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his unforgettable performance as Rod Tidwell in 1996's Jerry Maguire. Thanks to Gooding, "Show me the money" instantly became a global catchphrase, and though he appeared in As Good as It Gets the next year, afterwards, quality offers swiftly stopped coming in. Gooding went an entire decade without appearing in a critically acclaimed film, with panned duds like A Murder of Crows, Chill Factor, Pearl Harbor, Snow Dogs, and Shadowboxer clogging up his filmography. Worthy projects have been shockingly few and far between ever since that Oscar win, with Gooding only receiving serious awards attention for his performance as O.J. Simpson in the TV series American Crime Story. The back end of Gooding's output has been defined largely by straight-to-video action films you've probably never heard of, while the actor himself has also been accused of unwanted sexual touching by 30 women, which probably hasn't done much to help his career prospects either. Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway won a Best Actress Oscar for her phenomenal performance in 1977's Network, her third nomination and first win. But in one of the most damning instances of the Oscar curse in action, Dunaway's career fell off a cliff in a matter of years and never really recovered. After a string of critical and commercial hits throughout the 1970s, the 80s marked a severe downturn for the actor, who appeared in the panned likes of Mommy Dearest, The Wicked Lady, Supergirl, and a glut of low-rent TV movies most critics didn't even bother reviewing. Dunaway's career freefall continued throughout the 1990s, and it's never really recovered. Most depressingly of all, Dunaway never again received an Oscar nomination after getting her first Razzie nod. It's just not been a great end to the story, with Dunaway up until a few years ago still working regularly on low-budget schlock, with very occasional appearances in critically mauled Hollywood fare like The Bye Bye Man. Has an actress this talented ever fallen off this hard for so long? Probably not. Halle Berry. Halle Berry won the Best Actress Oscar in 2002 for her superb performance in Monsters Ball, and while she's worked consistently in big-budget projects with named directors, how many of them have actually been good? Look, the list of flops and disappointments goes on and on. Die Another Day, which she's great in, but the movie itself is not Bond's best, let's be real. Catwoman, for which she famously won the Worst Actress Razzie. Perfect Stranger, Dark Tide, Movie 43, The Call, Kidnap, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and most recently, Moonfall. That's a filmography that would make Troy McClure weep. Even the X-Men movies, for all their acclaim, gave her surprisingly little to do, and bar a show-stealing supporting appearance in the third John Wick, which she is amazing in, she's basically been massively wasted by Hollywood for the better part of the last 2 decades. It's an especially troubling story, given that Berry is still the only black Best Actress winner in Oscar history, and so for her post-award career to be so lackluster hits an especially sour note. Like, she was big, but she should have been so much bigger. Berry is still working consistently at least, but for such a talented actor, you're really left wishing that she had more John Wick 3s under her belt and less Moonfalls. Roberto Benigni. Roberto Benigni was on top of the world when he won the Best Actor Oscar for his performance in Life is Beautiful in 1998, while also receiving nominations for Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. Benigni's excited, affable presence at the Oscars endeared him to basically everyone, especially when he famously climbed up on his seat after Life is Beautiful won the Best Foreign Language Film Award. It seemed like the big Hollywood offers would start rolling in then, but it never happened. And even in Benigni's native Italy, his next project as director, writer, and actor was a brutal dud. We're talking, of course, about 2002's Pinocchio, which, despite being the most expensive film in the history of Italian cinema at the time, was a box office bomb and went on to score a devastating 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I'm not really a big fan of that website, but if you're scoring a big old 0, well, that's gotta be an indicator of not goodness. Pinocchio's failure torpedoed Benigni's career as both a filmmaker and an actor, shaking industry-wide confidence in him following Life is Beautiful's acclaim. He's directed only a single film since, 2005's The Tiger in the Snow, which was also a critical and commercial bust. Though Benigni poetically redeemed himself by starring as Geppetto in Matteo Garone's 2019 adaptation of Pinocchio, his career is nevertheless proof perfect of how damaging one massive flop can truly be, even if you've got an Oscar on your mantle. Alicia Vikander. Alicia Vikander sure is an interesting one. An extremely talented performer and beautiful to boot, and yet she's been stuck in a rut of largely mediocre to bad projects ever since winning a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for The Danish Girl in 2016. Now, in fairness, it doesn't help that Vikander's performance is probably one of the more forgettable pieces of Oscar-winning acting of the last decade, no offense to her, and she was infinitely more deserving for Ex Machina, which released the very same year. Anyway, following The Danish Girl, Vikander appeared in near countless critical and/or commercial duds, including Burnt, Jason Bourne, The Light Between Oceans, Tulip Fever, Euphoria, Submergence, Tomb Raider, and Earthquake Bird. Though sensibly dividing herself between frothy blockbusters and artsy passion projects, precious few of them managed to strike much of a chord with either critics or audiences. Though Vikander has more recently rebounded with memorable performances in The Green Knight and the miniseries Irma Vep, it's frustrating that so many films in her post-Oscar boom period failed to connect with critics or audiences. Mira Sorvino. Mira Sorvino won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 1996 for her riotous performance in Woody Allen's Mighty Aphrodite, which should have cemented her as a Hollywood darling with a bevy of coveted roles being offered her way. Unfortunately, the story of Sorvino's career downturn requires a huge asterisk, as in 2017, the actress alleged that she'd been sexually harassed by producer Harvey Weinstein and believes her career was adversely affected by turning down his advances. This prompted director and producer Peter Jackson to speak out and reveal that Weinstein blocked him from considering Sorvino for a role in his Lord of the Rings trilogy, dubbing her quote-unquote difficult. Between this and the likelihood that Weinstein sabotaged Sorvino's potential to work with other acclaimed filmmakers, her career instead took another, less fruitful path by the late 90s, defined by wall-to-wall critical clunkers and box office bombs. Sorvino has just 3 positively reviewed films to her name over the last 15 years, and considering she still regularly appears in up to 5 movies per year, that's a pretty brutal batting average. One hoped the tide for a slandered Oscar-winning actress might turn once the word got out, but that hasn't proven to be the case. Monique. Monique's turn in Precious as a monstrously abusive mother is one of the all-time great "where the hell did that come from" performances, all the more so given that it nabbed her the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 2010. Prior to starring in the film, Monique was primarily known as a stand-up comedian and had appeared in a glut of critically mauled comedies, including Soul Plane, Hair Show, and Fat Girls. Yet, despite winning universal acclaim for her performance in Precious, Monique's acting career failed to flourish, with her having appeared in just 6 films in 15 years since, a single one of which, Bessie, made much of a dent with critics. Monique herself has spoken about her low acting profile, claiming that she was effectively blackballed from the industry by precious director Lee Daniels, as well as by producers Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, because she refused to take part in additional promotional duties for the film without being paid. That Monique won the Oscar while skipping the usual circus of voter glad-handing is all the more a testament to the impact of her performance, even if her acting career suffered as a result. She largely works back in stand-up comedy these days, though even that wasn't without its hiccups, as in 2019, Monique sued Netflix for making a lowball offer for a proposed comedy special, which she deemed discriminatory. The suit itself was settled out of court. Jean Dujardin. Though Jean Dujardin has been well known in his native France for a long time, he came to global prominence by starring in 2011's Best Picture winning The Artist, for which he himself won the Best Actor Oscar. It was simply assumed that Dujardin's Hollywood career would skyrocket practically overnight, yet save for appearances in The Wolf of Wall Street, The Monuments Men, and some Nespresso commercials with George Clooney, he's largely stuck to homegrown French cinema, which has had little play in the rest of the world. Now, some context is definitely crucial here. Though Dujardin's Hollywood career quickly evaporated, that might well be by design, given that Dujardin hasn't got a great grasp of English and reportedly favors to work in his home country. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but for a Best Actor winning performer to collect their gong and slide back into fair obscurity within a few years, outside of their native land that is virtually unheard of. Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger was perfectly cast as femme fatale Lynn Bracken in LA Confidential, and nailed the role hard enough that she won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 1998. Basinger's career had actually begun to wane by the mid-1990s, possibly due to her refusal to star in Boxing Helena, resulting in a lawsuit which bankrupted her, but the Oscar seemingly ensured that she'd landed firmly back in the A-list. You certainly wouldn't know it from what followed, though, as Basinger's post-Oscar career is littered with duds, most infamously including I Dreamed of Africa, Bless the Child, While She Was Out, The Informers, Grudge Match, and the latter 2 entries in the 50 Shades franchise. Her only acclaimed projects in the quarter century since her Oscar win are 8 Mile, which was also directed by LA Confidential's Curtis Hanson, 2004's drama The Door and the Floor, and the more recent Shane Black dark comedy The Nice Guys. Basinger seems to have put her career on the back burner in recent years, given that she's appeared in just 5 live-action movies over the last decade. She's certainly deserving of far more than she's been given since winning her gong, but it remains to be seen whether a juicy acting part could lure her back into the fold. Jared Leto. Now, this one might be a tad controversial, but consider what Jared Leto has actually been up to since he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his performance in Dallas Buyers Club. In the decades since, Leto's career has been populated by films and performances that have left all of us, well, scratching our heads. From his widely panned portrayal of the Joker in Suicide Squad, to duds like The Outsider, House of Gucci, Morbius, and Haunted Mansion, it seems like nothing he commits himself to actually sticks. Hell, even the brilliant Blade Runner 2049 saw his villainous performance singled out by many critics as the weakest link of an otherwise acclaimed movie. Even if critical and commercial flops keep a coming, it still seems as if Hollywood is obsessed with casting this guy. And I have no idea why, because let's face it, he's not very good, is he?